Hello, everybody. It's time for the Great Ace Attorney Adventure 2 Resolve, Case 5.
Merry Christmas Eve.
It's happy almost Christmas,
Oh,
everybody.
ho,
This is the
ho.
game.
Wait, do you have a Santa hat pasted onto your VTuber?
No. I could do that, I
Wow.
guess.
Do you even care?
Hold on,
Find a
let me-
PNG and just at least put a PNG on me. Since I barely move, I just float up and down.
No, I can pin it to the thing. I know how to do that. Let's see here.
I want a Santa hat.
.png. Well, do the same one for both of us.
Yes, good. Well, you could. Can you mirror one of them easily, or is that hard?
I think that's harder. Let me see how this
Damn,
is.
then to do the same one.
I need to make sure it's actually a PNG first.
Yeah, they do like to lie about that.
You think this will be the final E? I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, no, definitely not. We're not even close. I figured out what you meant by that. You meant finale. And no, absolutely it won't be. There's no way.
I'd be surprised this is the last one, but we're getting pretty close. I'd say probably like 2 more streams, but I'm just guessing. Might just be 1.
If that's saved that
Also,
somewhere, I
I'm
don't
a
know
guy.
where.
Hi, Guadalajara-based Molo guy.
Hold on, is there a Santa hat in just the default things that are in VT?
Well, I guess based isn't the right way of putting that. Hi, traveling for the holidays. Yes, that's right, Molo guy. I'm using information I obtained from the other stream.
Okay.
And by obtained, I mean you said in chat.
I know how to scale it. Don't tell me I know how to do that already. Alright, and we'll see. That's alright. This will hopefully be easier for you. It's gone?
I'm a great candidate for a Santa hat.
It disappeared.
It's gone.
I put it on the screen and it disappeared when I tried to move it.
My family dinner, so I'll probably have to miss the stream. You're crossing the timelines of crossing the timelines. Enjoy your family dinner, Mola guy.
I drag it into the stream and it instantly disappears. That's very strange. I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on, what if I save
Is it going behind something?
No, it's like vanishing. It's turning invisible.
Weird.
'Cause it's on the top layer. Hold on, I guess I'll just save it, and then maybe if I drag it in from the folder, it'll... Which folder did I put that in? God, even my fucking desktop loads so slow. Okay. Huh? 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 There we go. Alright, we did it. Alright, Cosmo, just as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired.
Prosecutor Ryunousuke, what on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked.
But
The defense... Oh, right, with the watch. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind, of course, that what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident?
Do you know?
The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
That seems like something he shouldn't be allowed to do.
Even within the yard.
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend? I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector the day prior to the incident?
Well, the board.
I'm gonna say the notice board full of victims of the
Reaper. Yeah.
That one feels pretty obvious. What?
I can't say that I find your answer suggestive of anything in particular. But then perhaps it is utterly wrong. That much you've clarified most expertly.
Hmm?
Congratulations, Ryunousuke Naruhodo. You deserve a reward for that expert display.
Ah! Did you just draw karma on me, my friends?
I think, Mr. Naruhodo, there's one particular piece of evidence that really does stand out showing the case Inspector Gregson was investigating.
My lord, I have the answer now.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court.
Okay.
What is the specifics then? Not the notice board.
I mean, the red hairpiece. There wasn't a case about these, was there?
Yeah, not that we know about.
There's a framed photograph. Maybe he was investigating this disappearance also?
It's either the redheaded. It's got to be either the wig or the photograph, I guess,
this
right?
was in the room.
It was in the room.
Take that!
Eh? No.
Nope. I guess the wig. I genuinely don't know what they're looking for here.
Imagine we just failed the case right here.
Take that!
Music. Oh, okay.
Yep, it's the wig.
All right, that was confusing because there's not a case about this.
There's not a case. Yeah, we don't know that anyone's. Yeah.
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer.
Ugh.
We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, you'd already worked it out.
You can tell by the way I got it wrong twice.
Well, we knew this part. It's just
Yeah.
that the way the game phrased the question was weird.
Yeah.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
Stares at the camera.
So I don't know any of the characters from that.
Sean Connery's in it. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money.
Ah, it's a multi-level marketing scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor. Hate that with a U in it. Misdemeanor only yesterday. Mr. Mauer.
My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once.
2 redheads?
God, I hate how that one dude stands stuff. It's crazy.
Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruto.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us, at least.
Prosecutor will make the arrangements for the charged men to appear.
They're in the next room.
Bring those two red-headed league conspirators before me, Prosecutor Ashley.
At once, Smiley.
Very good. We have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned. I'm gonna use the seesaw.
Wee.
Wee.
Oh. I guess we could have pushed for this
was-
to be continued.
It was like 10 minutes, though. Well,
Meh,
I spent
yeah.
5 of that figuring out Christmas hats. It was like... We didn't know it was going to be
Whatever.
another 5 minutes. Whatever, man. 2nd November, 12:33 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Ah. How are you all, Otto? What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Gina. You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died a day before? It's pretty hard to swallow.
Yes. I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina.
As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Schultz.
I was the most shocked.
But I was more shocked than all of you put together.
Oh, wow.
This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. How did you get that? Suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission.
Oh dear. If it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on, and Dr. Scythe.
I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No, no, no. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose.
The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? And Mr. Sholmes is sweet, I mean.
That's right, Suze, and it was me what took 'em in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuthhound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tar 'em with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason.
The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks.
And Kazuma.
Hey, Macarena.
I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow.
Gosh, I think you're right.
What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato?
Yes.
I didn't even get to talk this time. 2nd November, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Damn. What a pose, what a posture.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zix, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Shogi,
My lord.
have you summoned the witnesses you have requested?
Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage.
Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men inside the courtroom.
I don't remember what they look like. We saw
One's
them very
tall and one's
briefly.
small,
Oh,
and
God.
they're French? Or something that they had accents.
Yeah.
These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court.
Oh, God.
I was gonna say, I think, was it I was the tall one and you were the small one?
I think
We voiced
so.
them for like one sentence.
I think so.
I am Fabien de Rosson, a descendant of the great de Rosson family from.
Oh God, how do you actually say it?
I
It's
feel like
Nice, right?
I feel like I've heard Nice, yeah.
It's yeah.
from Nice, in France.
And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I love the spaghetti. I'm the third son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli.
In Napoli, where love is king. That song rules. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility.
Those who graduate from Tamisk are the future leaders of Europe. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do, huh?
So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out.
Oui, you could say that.
Not too bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is at the charm of the hilarious brothers.
Why does he do a little Mario Yahoo jump?
I don't know. Si, capo. That's maybe the most withering look I've ever seen.
Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you.
Eh, she? Are you about to tell me one of your That's a hard word to
Anecdotes?
say. Anecdote. One of your grandi anecdotes. Evviva!
Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business.
Che bello, there it is. The capo's trump card, the furrowed brow. It is deep, capo. The furrow and the meaning of your words.
Whoa.
Yahoo!
Hold on. I'm looking up what capo means.
I think it's what
a
you
high-ranking
call...
member who leads a crew of soldiers or regiment.
Yeah.
It's a made member of an Italian crime family who leads
Yeah.
a crew. He's calling him boss, basically.
Yeah, that's the one I know. From JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5.
Well,
Deals a lot with the Italian mafia. It's sort of the whole thing of the thing.
it's the thing of the thing, yeah. So I've heard. That's the thing of the thing. I'm just surprised how many French people are in here.
At least 2.
At least if I had a nickel for every French person. I'm pretty sure I gave a French accent to a third non-French person even.
That sounds correct.
Go and been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League.
Well, they start singing Italian too.
Yeah.
You have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is it true?
Oui. Oh man, I looked this up for fucking Madame Tussauds and I don't remember. Because French is an insane language.
Say something.
It's like c'est ça, I believe. C'est ça.
Oui, c'est ça. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you plan to defraud? Alors, I will explain it.
No, Capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The Capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. Way, those dogs! One day the world will respect those redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep for the injustice.
De bien, Pepino. Enough. I will explain the rest.
His name is Peppino, it's killing me.
Pepino.
The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London.
Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League.
Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it.
It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted to the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4.
On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings.
Yeah, that'll do it.
With some money to France. It was a plan most elegant, no?
No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, turns into a hot dog. I'm stunned. I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coster's orange barrow. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these 2 men spoke face to face with every single person present at that day.
Oui, I've seen more red-headed people in 1 day than I will see in the rest of my life.
See. And now, every time I see the Capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach.
Anyway, why have we been summoned here today?
Sorry?
The day for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told.
Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial.
Yeah, that makes sense, on account of it being private.
They've only been shown this photograph.
Very good. So, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course. We always read to help us along.
He's just hoofing through that spaghetti.
I know. The man in the photograph.
We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day.
That's quite a profit. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, eh, Capo?
No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park.
Allora, this victim is nothing to do with us.
You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we are caught in the first place.
You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain?
Oui, I am quite certain. We did not interview this man.
Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise.
Must be denoted that you have been arrested for a grand deception or other. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Well, then why did you bring us here? Oof! With this attitude, we got to nowhere, huh? He's really a sulking now.
This
I think
confidential
that was a
document.
microaggression, Naruto.
Yeah, I was gonna say. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary, dated the day before the incident. It reads Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover.
Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, huh?
That is ridiculous.
There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed.
Very well. The rest may proceed with the
Ah, yes, my lord. They didn't give a lot of useful information, so maybe one of them will say some stupid shit when we press them.
Now we're gonna have to press in.
Hold it! 1,000 people? That's a very big crowd.
It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come from all over the capital.
See, the capo here, he has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo.
All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. The £4 per week. Why is it that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oui, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings.
We take their names and we take their money. And we take their addresses as well. Why? And then well, I guess for the fake thing you're doing. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post, finito. Maybe 2 minuti a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night. So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day. That's a small fortune.
Who'd have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with?
One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Which button is pressed? There we go. I only had one hand on the controller because I was taking a drink. He doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
What?
Says the con artist.
If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it'd be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, signore. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. I don't know why I hit park like that. That was a weird pronunciation. But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems. Hey, Capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh? Hold it! How do you know he's dead? But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day.
Oh yeah, that's true. Eyes were burning by the end of the day.
Surely then you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, then maybe we would recall.
That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? There was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color. Then I do not think I would have forgotten him.
Surely his mustache is visible in this picture. It
Yeah,
is.
it was
Okay.
still gray. I was gonna say.
Oh, like that can't be it, right?
I was wondering if they were gonna bring that up. I was gonna say, like, they might remember him if his mustache was just the wrong color.
Yeah. Kazuma said these two had only been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example...
His profile.
His fish and chips.
Can't-
He
Could it be that?
He would not have his fish and chips.
He would not have his fish and chips, I guess.
The other thing would be his name, because they did take a list of
Wait.
all of that.
But he probably used a fake name.
Yeah. What if it's the same fake name that owns the house? Huh?
Maybe.
I'm gonna try
Maybe.
fish and chips, because it'll be funny if nothing else. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly?
Not really. I was looking at only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips anymore since the caviar and smoked salmon.
Or a spaghetti. Me, I love the spaghetti. Really? I had no idea.
Tell them again what you said before, Peppino.
Si, capo, si. I say it again and again.
Hold it!
Hold it. Well, we only have your word for that. Si, but what else can we do, huh? True. Uffa, we're not having much of fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Hey, capo. No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Hey, capo. But he just ignores them about 50% of the time.
I think you would
Hold
have
it.
to stay sane.
What do you mean by that? Cavolo, you promised not to say, eh, capo?
After we had taken all the monies that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk. What the fuck?
It's Dunkirk,
Dunkirk?
but French for some reason.
Dunkirk? Wow. Albuquerque.
Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day.
Wait a minute. Oops. See, but there's an easy mistake to make, huh? The 1st, the 31st.
Bah! I have no sympathy for you. We went all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called great red-headed detective caught us.
Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It is a holy punishment, eh?
Peppino, for the last time,
There is no God.
this is not only punishment. This is only your fault.
Ah!
Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes.
Yo, banger line.
You are making me sick with anger.
Maybe I make a mistake. But when it is time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. And I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much we didn't already know.
What do you think, Mr. Naruto?
Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet those two both claim they didn't see him.
I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely, if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Oh yes, you do have a point there. Seems to me like we need more information.
Definitely.
Alright, so we'll try to present his name, maybe. 1 second, though. I believe this was on the back of a ticket for a steamship, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was. Alright, that may become relevant. Which one was it under? It was under him, right?
No, I think it was before this one. I think it was
This one
this
here?
one. I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right. His name. I could certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation, but what if I told you that the man's name was Gregson?
The man's photograph is of Monsieur Gregson.
Yes. Names, they are boring. I did not listen to any of them. Oh. It was not a real interview, eh? It was just for a show. Why would I remember the names?
That's right, this changes nothing. The man's photograph was not there, as we have already said.
I see.
We came from this point further.
Yeah, so it is telling him he's
One
a
of these
cop.
one of these testimonies definitely said they wrote down all the names. I just don't remember which one. Si, capo, si, I say it again and again, blah 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 blah.
I tried presenting the profession. That's the one I thought it was, anyways.
Couldn't hurt.
If you recall, I said that, and then you were like, fish and chips. Watch it also do nothing, and this is all just a red herring.
I mean, sometimes they do the thing where you press one thing and then you press another thing and then changes when you press the first thing again. So, like, my thought is maybe if they're like, oh, we didn't take down the names, and then we press again on the thing where they're like, yeah, we wrote down the names. But, like,
Well,
I
he
mean,
just said
this is just as
he just said
likely.
he doesn't remember the names. It's not quite the same.
I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had a red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective?
The man's photograph, a detective.
Yes.
It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious. Decided to investigate incognito.
Sorry, but this changes nothing.
There it is.
Oh yeah, Peppino? Excuse me, Peppino. Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Che, see, I'm always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he just say? About the detective? Yes, that.
Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already.
But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What?
Good lord!
Oh, the box.
They got the box again.
Explain this won't face in your testimony, witness.
It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector.
There was no such man.
Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh?
I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park.
Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not at two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a fasta.
But you are inferior to me in every other way. So shut up.
Objection.
Objection.
Oh. Up, Todd. The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir.
I knew it was going to be the profession.
Oui, there was a man who came to the park and said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like this man in the photograph. He was someone else.
How can you be so sure?
Because, to start with, his face was completely different.
See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was a clean shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever, then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof.
See, the capo here, he doesn't take no nonsense, eh?
But he was well prepared. He said he had identification.
Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
That is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord?
Casual, no incognito officer would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
That's fair. That would make you a really bad undercover detective.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity?
Clearly, the papers were fake.
Certo, capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective?
He became very annoyed. He said, "You are under investigation." So I took his papers home and chased him out of the park.
It was fantastico. And look, here's the identification. Oh?
So you stole it from the man.
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not what he said he was. Fuck.
Yeah?
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them. The inspector's identification has been entered into the court record. Alright, I need to know what those fucking things say.
Now, let us return to the witness's testimony.
1 second, sir. Gotta unclasp it. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Could it be Van Zeek's or something? Well, this doesn't... I can't read any of that. Police. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it?
Out of interest, what name is given?
Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what?
This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
And the department identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say?
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Inspector Gregson's police identity. So whoever killed him took it and pretended to be an inspector to these fucking guys? Why?
Why?
To what ends? Alright, nothing else to get on this. Got it. He was not in the park.
So we present the warrant book now?
I guess. Oh, hey, we've
And
got
be
all our hit
like-
points back.
Yeah. We're fine.
Eh?
We're chilling.
Objection? Okay. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade?
Why Miss Lestrade?
What is your objection here, counsel?
Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection.
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
Hold it.
It's in the 1800s. There's only two genders.
That is the boss's. No question about it.
It can't be.
As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question.
Enrollment with one L.
That's insane. Was the real Inspector Gregson carrying out an incognito investigation.
My god, not the real one.
Zola! Order!
But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Basically, Wrong. Hey, what are you saying? Wrong accent.
Unable to. You're not suggesting.
Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen.
No.
Order!
The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before. Try it again. Was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? Way! I know nothing. Way! I done nothing. Way!
Pull yourself together, Pepino. Mon Dieu, you can't behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no?
Way! Now I wish I had returned to Italia. Way!
Stop crying, Pepino, please. Otherwise, I...
No, mate, stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I'm really calling you to hear a story.
I know nothing. Way! I done nothing. Way!
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome.
No more spaghetti for life.
You will dry your eyes and testify again. About their identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them.
Way! For crying out loud.
I
That
get it. Do you get it?
Okay.
Eh.
It was fine. It was fine, derogatory.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout.
What? Why?
Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case.
We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours.
There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. And the next morning we let him go.
He spent the night in a nicer room. It was a nothing like prison, really. Way! What?
This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man.
But no, see, no. It was not like a prison. He was a very comfortable and calm and happy. Hey, Capo.
It was never part of my plan. I swear.
Oof. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong? By one a little day.
I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it.
No. Per favore, Capo. It's not fair.
You shall brave Thomas Goblin back in prison, gentlemen. Oof. I do not believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Come to all of that. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Jesus Christ. It's getting stupider, I can feel it.
It's getting dumb, yeah.
These two chuckle fucks took Gregson prisoner.
He must have wanted to be taken prisoner.
Right? Like, that must have been part of his plan or something.
Hold it!
Hold it. Do you realize what you're saying?
You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detectives did not intend it either.
Do you think?
But there was nothing I could do.
See, nothing else. This wasn't the first crime for the Capo. He was at the end of his wits.
I have told you before, Peppino. That is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind.
What about this hideout of yours?
An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street.
We rented the place for 2 days. It was inspired idea by the Capo here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive. Inspired, eh, Capo?
What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino?
And it was in the house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it?
We have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector.
You still can't just imprison people for pretending to be a cop. That's not
can't
how
imprison
any of
people,
that
period.
works. That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there?
No? You alright? But we couldn't be completely certain.
Hold it!
Hold it. Too scared? Why?
Because why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan.
And if that wasn't the case, he would go straight to the police to blow the whistle on us. Even if it was- Even if it was just a feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt.
I think most people would agree that it's you two who were up to no good.
Well, you see, you may be right. Hey, Capo.
The point is, we are not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner.
What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I ask myself the same question.
We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I've forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me.
See, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said. What? What? I really hope this was somebody else and Gregson was already dead.
No, I think this was Gregson. Was he trying to get access to the names and addresses that they took?
Maybe.
Because remember, the missing Mr. Vigil guy.
We only have a
he
black and white
had-
picture of him, and he was part of the league, right? It said?
Well,
Someone said
well, he is connected to the league, which doesn't actually exist. But like, there was
Yeah.
something about him.
Like
being
his,
part
his
of that
wife might have
league.
said it or something.
Someone mentioned the Red-Headed League with him, and if they were trying to, if he, so he
this is
does not
helpful.
doesn't have red hair, does
No.
not have red hair, but
No.
there's something about him being connected to the Red-Headed League,
Yeah, I do
which is
remember
again
that.
not real.
Not-
It's a thing that they
not
made up,
real.
I think. So if he was in the park, maybe also wearing a wig or something like that, maybe Gregson wanted to see the list of names and addresses.
Could be.
Because that guy, because he had a picture of the dude's wife in his little fucking hut,
Yeah, which is strange.
which is weird. And that
We
guy
still don't know
clearly
why.
did something 10 years ago when he was supposed to execute the professor.
And then he didn't, and then he was fired and never told his wife in 10 years.
He probably didn't like your face, Peppino.
Damn.
Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification.
What was Inspector Gregson playing at?
Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say?
See, we did.
Hold it!
Hold it. That being this identification book here, correct? See, that is the one.
Oh, make you believe it was a forgery.
I never seen the real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be falso, eh, Capo?
Oui, it is just as Peppino has said. We are convinced it was not genuine.
And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive.
All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all the money.
In for a penny, in for a pound. That one wasn't very good.
Hold it!
Hold it. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly?
Well, it was nothing, just a minor incident.
The falso inspector, he was a real piece of the work, eh, Capo? What happened? Oof, it was a disaster. We give him a nice room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilatore. Can you blame him?
We chased him, sir. And we caught him again.
Can you blame us? Yes? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you?
Sir, what do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Oh no.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Mr. DeRossi, is something wrong? Hey, me. Something Mr. DeRousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
Wait. Why are you being such a little freak?
Cavolo, at times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you believe in me. And I speak from a personal esperienza. Personal experience?
That is enough, Peppino. There's no need to say more.
The truth is, the night before we put the red-headed league plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like at the turbine, huh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, capo?
Okay.
Oh shit.
The marker on the back.
Yeah, the lip guy had one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see? You want to see my fantastical bruises?
That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you.
Damn. What did I do, huh? I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't.
You do. Now. You'll piss for me.
Allora, if everyone wants to see, then I do it. Ecco, you see? It's still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck. You got that when you were dragged back to the house. See, the capo, sometimes he is a very rough and...
I said that's enough. Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, Counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. DeRossi's neck? I wonder, does it matter? Yes!
It does. Yeah,
Mr.
Gossip
DeRossi,
had it.
I'm going to have... Yeah, that was his name. I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Hey, capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh? That means gossip was...
Yes?
That means gossip was pretending to be fucking... Gregson. I forgot his name for a second.
Yeah, so I guess that he found Gregson dead, ganked his ID, went to the Red-Headed League.
To try to get free money, which makes sense, because
Try to get
they're all
free money
terribly
or
poor.
something. Yeah. Gotcha. Interesting.
Very well, you amend your testimony as requested, Mr. DeRossi.
See, if you really want to know. He tried to escape, but the capo put the collar on him and dragged him back, like what he did to me. See, can we present people? We cannot. So I guess press this.
Hold it!
Hold it. Are you saying that red mark was caused by...
The dog collar.
A big collar made from the leather. A leather collar?
Is this true, Mr. DeRusso?
What? We had the same panade at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time with a very strong chain.
A strong chain?
And you put that around your friend's neck?
I'm sorry, I was angry that he was leaving me alone.
You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of the bed, though, huh? I would not have tried to run again. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people equal, is the capo's year's motto, eh?
Starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden.
The capo is tough, but the capo is rough.
Well, I shouldn't have done it.
So, the following morning, when you release the inspector, he had the red ring around his neck, just like me.
Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now.
Now you know, huh? The capo here, you don't want to tango with him again, eh? But for the inspector, it's not so bad. Where? Hold it. Do we present the photo of Gregson where he doesn't have the ring around his neck, I guess?
I guess so.
You took away the man's freedom. However comfortable you make it sound, you were still holding him prisoner. If you say that, then I say this. There is something that takes away our freedom too, the lack of money. So we are the prisoners as well, huh? All of us. Huh? No money, no freedom. This is the truth. It makes me mad, and it makes me sad. What can we do? Well...
If you feel so disenfranchised, take money to court. Though it will cost you, of course.
Oof, there you have it. You see, that is why we need Red-Headed League, to fight for the justice. Perhaps he has a point.
No, Mr. Naruto.
All we did was to give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. And you say it was a prison, huh? Huh? Perhaps he has a point again.
No again, Mr. Naruto.
I love this look. It's so disappointed.
Yeah, it's really good.
You should have heard them snoring. Madai, if anyone was disturbed, it was us. How much to get? Yeah, we had this conversation, I think.
Their testimony does make me wonder, you know.
Gonna check that photo. He definitely doesn't have a thing around his neck, right?
He does not.
No, he does not.
Yeah.
I guess we present that then.
About this pocket watch belonging to the inspector, I mean.
Oh yes, the one he treasured so much, apparently.
He was confined but not restrained, as the witnesses are implying. He would still have been able to wind his watch.
That's very true, yes. So did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by these redheads?
In which case, is it possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson's...
To be honest, I find that hard to believe. Perhaps we should try to find out exactly what happened.
Very wise, Mr. Naruto. Yes. Yeah, we try the photo.
Present. Photo Gregson. Objection. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not like that. It was at the prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only.
However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains.
Why was this counsel?
I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. DeRossi.
Indeed, and most peculiar.
But what we tell you, huh? We say this from the beginning, many times away.
Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph is someone different to the man we held captive at night.
The fucking pose is
What is that? What is this? It would appear, then, that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street, posing as an incognito inspector, was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection! If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself.
Ugh.
The window tap. And we also know that the inspector made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day. Which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
Well, consistency motivated the offense is most troubling. If it was a real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruises can be seen around neck defies explanation.
But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification?
Brother, let's have some plausible explanation, counsel.
The
He's
whole
dead,
thing
buff.
defies explanation.
It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruto. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie.
Is it in his picture? I didn't look because it wasn't able to look at the picture before. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to present him, I assume.
I assume.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
Good gracious!
Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruto. So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. DeRosu and Mr. Darasi? An imposter.
Imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undefiable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson.
You're getting worse.
Blah, 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 blah.
Happy day. Yeah, we all do it. It's fine. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection! On the contrary, I haven't finished.
What?
There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's alright. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog collare.
Mon Dieu, Pepino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh?
So who was that the false inspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night.
I must ask the counsel for the events to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witnesses encounter
Don't click it yet.
in the park posing as Inspector Gregson?
I want to see something quick.
Yeah.
It could be a wild coincidence, but doesn't Gossip have, like, the same hair as the Vigils?
Yeah, kinda.
I don't know if that's actually anything.
It might
But
be nothing.
it
but
just bothered
It
me.
is weird. Hey, Beppo.
Beppo,
I love that their
what do you
ages
mean?
are
That's
listed as
sandwich.
Question marks.
Are we gonna end this case without, like, being able to confront that that's just Beppo?
It's just, we know what happened to him. How did this happen to you, Beppo? What went wrong? Anyway, yeah, it was Gossip.
Goodness me, isn't that?
One of the witnesses who was in the stand at this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passersby.
Objection.
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not?
What has happened to his lip?
Wait, it didn't look like that before? Ah. See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for a Twisted Lip League, no?
Perhaps, rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead.
It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising.
Eh? What?
The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand.
Cause like that, could it be Vigil? Like in like a weird ass disguise?
Like, probably not, right?
Probably not. But I'm just spitballing here.
It could,
Order, bailiff!
it could just be, coincidental character design, but it is strange.
Yes.
Bring the aforementioned witnesses back into the stand. Immediately.
So usually hair's the one thing that's very different.
Well, I never. Undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him.
Know what's going on here, eh? It took me a second. I've always had this, me. There's a birthmark in it. What? A birthmark, you say?
I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you?
Aye, something about the inspector again. But I'm telling you, you got it all wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it. Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Kazuma's a bit of a sassy bitch, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to need you to testify again.
No need to roast the guy, Kazuma. He's already the way he is.
Jesus.
And you, Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you?
Do we have any choice?
We are in big trouble, eh, Capo?
That's quite enough dilatory.
Dilatory?
Hold on.
Dilatory?
That's a word to look up.
Welcome to vocabulary
Dilatory.
corner.
Slow to act. Intended to cause delay.
That's
Yeah.
quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony.
One of these days, I just want the judge to straight up be like, please shut up.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! I'm losing my damn mind!
The inspector and the identification revisited.
The man who claimed to be the inspector that day was definitely not this man.
He's right, see. You think we will forget that these grand lips, huh? I'll never leave Fresno Street, alright? I'm no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? It's a fair point.
I'm just pretty sure he, like, made a bee sting his lips or something.
Yeah.
It's only appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, huh? There's no need for this pointless testimony.
That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but...
A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief.
Ugh. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruto.
Withering. Absolutely scathing. Worse than if he had just said no.
Hold it!
Alright, hold it. So you say, but how can you be quite so certain?
Sorry, something about the way you hit that line read kind of got me. So you say.
So you say.
There's no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never seen before lips like this.
Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar.
Mon Dieu, with your words, it is like you tried to wring my neck.
It does look very much like a my neck, though, eh?
No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Aye, they break them all when they made me.
For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair.
And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London.
So you maintain you've never seen this man before?
Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair.
Though fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? Listen, I may be a freak, but at least I am not a freak like this.
This man is so freaky and tiki.
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either. That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either. Likewise, I'd never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it is a nationality trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips.
No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I never left.
Uffa, this is the problem, see? So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip.
How many times do you want me to say it, eh?
Hold it. So you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got a sandwich to cough up for it.
What? Why?
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts.
Who knows?
But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me soiling off to some other part of town. Oh, sir, not likely.
Excuse me.
Excuse me? Mr. de Rousseau!
Oui? Can I help you?
Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
No. It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something.
To be the headquarters of your red-headed league, yes.
I was in the edge on Lime Street and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip with a housing agent?
Oui? He had some kind of contract in his hand and they were clearly discussing terms.
What? No, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me, like I said before. You're mistaking me for someone else, someone with the same face.
No, the capo is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes.
With notes?
Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
Vigil.
No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh?
Hugh
He's
Boone.
better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see?
No! I didn't know how to yell in this voice. I'm a peddler tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. Oh, I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. If not, the judge is called to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. Information names will be redacted from all court records of this trial. There should be no objections. Object now.
Objection!
Object very fast.
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Yeah, it does.
Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Professor?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, I never. In what capacity?
What? You were here. What do you mean?
Well, I'm forgetful. I'm an old man.
Hugh Boone. The name of the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room.
No.
I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, aye.
So your real name is Hugh Boone. It changed on his name tag, so...
Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no final peddler with tidbits in town. So I happen to be afford a grubby little room in a fallen down backstreet townhouse.
You do?
Once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Oh, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Hey, if either of us is a vulgar, it's not a me.
Think again, Peppino.
Damn, he just fucking roasts Peppino.
This guy hates Peppino.
This guy's only friend is a small Italian bastard he hates. Why didn't you bring this up before?
It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update. Wait.
Whoa.
You update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If I must.
So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along.
Okay. I don't see what that changes, actually. So, you live in that room, presumably, do you? Oh, wait, the picture of...
No, I don't live
The
there.
picture
What
of
do
his
you
wife.
then? Yeah. There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
That explains. Okay, I'm still pretty sure this just is Vigil.
It might be.
'Cause the hair's the same. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy.
Then
Because-
why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Because, like, there's no reason for Gregson to have a picture of Mrs. Vigil, as far as we know.
Yeah.
And it's possible there's a connection there, but it would make more sense if, like, Gregson stopped by the room for some reason. And this guy, Hugh Boone, in quotes. I also, like, there was that really long pause and I said, so Hugh Boone's your real name?
And then
There's,
he
like, a
didn't
bunch
say
of
yes.
dots. Yeah, he never said yes. I'm 90% certain. And I would like to point out for the record that if this is true, I'm going to be really fucking smug about it. Because I clocked that from just his dumb, curly-ass hair. You saw it. You all saw it. Everyone saw it.
We all saw it.
I made Steven look through the court record. Before we even called Gossip back into the room. How about the notice board in there? Yeah, because Gregson was
That part
coming
is
to this
weird.
place regularly, right?
Yeah.
That must mean...
Maybe
That must
Gregson
mean-
was paying this dude to, like, rent the room for him?
I feel like this is Mr. Vigil. And he and Gregson were doing something together, but I don't know what.
Yeah, if
Like,
it
they
is
were
Vigil, that would
tracking
make
down
sense
the
why he's
Reaper.
got the Reaper stuff. Because that's at least
like,
sort of
the
relevant to
Reaper-
his shit.
The Reaper started with...
The Reaper started, I think, the case immediately after the Professor case.
after the Professor, and Vigil was connected to the Professor case.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we haven't proved that, but we know that. We know that because we talked to the guy,
We talked to the the large
the
cop.
warden. Yeah. So it's something with like the last 10 years, Vigil's been. Is
Now,
it?
he only went missing a week ago, so he might have changed his appearance just to, you know.
I think he changed his appearance within the last week. I think before then I think he was going around as Gossip, but I don't think he had the big lips.
Yeah.
But because he was doing something every day when he left home, right? Because he wasn't working.
Yeah, he wasn't working, so he was going somewhere.
So I think he was going to Fresno Street. Was he like investigating the Reaper?
Like an informant? I mean, had to have been. I don't know, maybe they'll tell us.
I feel like I'm close to puzzling this together. But maybe I'm not at all. But I'm like,
We could be completely wrong.
I would eat an article of clothing if this guy does not end up being... Because the one thing they don't double up on in this game with their dumb characters, who I love, but they're dumb, right? They never fucking copy hair. The hair is always super unique. And this guy's hair just being a slight shade different than Vigil's is got me firing. Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to.
Oh, no, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. Some of the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and a chair and that.
And the photo of your wife?
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room?
Well, obviously I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
I seems to... typo.
Typo.
I seems to me that Mr. Gossip... Sorry, Mr. Boone... would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way, and more importantly, knowing the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this, man.
It's the picture of his wife. Right?
Well, no kinfolk.
Yes.
Why
So,
would I be involved
I
in
think we
something?
should press this, but then we can present the wife.
Hold it. You mean you have no family?
No, none at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passerby. Hoping, just between us that is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along.
I don't think so.
You may be right.
Wow. Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore.
Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip.
Looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof.
Yep.
You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how do you think I could do that. Hey, does it look like I'll carry out a disguise with a face like this?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we present the photo of his wife.
Oh, went past it.
Objection!
Objection!
Boing.
You have no kinfolk, as you put it. Then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in the room.
Huh.
I presume as you've been renting the room that this photograph belongs to you, does it not?
Oh, well...
Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are.
Yeah, see, Ryunousuke knows.
Oh, I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler, I'll keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone.
As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection! How can you be so sure? Fucking look at
Just
him, man.
look at that. Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection! But what if we were to look at this the other way around? We were to turn about this case.
Pretty good. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise.
Yep.
Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone?
God.
Good. Witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court?
Yeah, it's Vigil, dude.
Gotta be.
If that's a disguise, then underneath it is Tread, and he must be.
Yes,
Yep.
that's
See, they
right.
both know.
There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no.
Oh, your wife won't find out. This is a closed trial. Don't worry about
Very
it,
well
my
done,
friends.
counsel.
Unless he's a murderer.
What's the clue out there of this peddler who simply goes by the name of Gossip on the street?
Daily Vigil.
I fucking
Take
knew it.
that.
I knew it. I clocked
Your
this
real
shit
name
from just the hair.
Is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it?
I'm so
Mr.
fucking
Daily
smug
Vigil.
right now. I'm so fucking smug, dude.
Yo.
You got no idea. You've got no idea how smug I am right now. I'm gonna lean back in my chair and spin slightly. I'm steepling my little fingers. Sorry, I'll be done now. I'm just happy. I like knowing things before the game reveals it.
No, that was a good deduction. I
I'm
was
just
gonna
glad.
say guess,
Okay,
but that would be wrong.
I'm just glad that they gave that they gave away the clue that the hair is like the same hair, just like a different shade. That's actually pretty good. That they didn't like completely obfuscate his features, because like his nose and lips are swollen, but the face shape is the same. I don't know if you can go into the.
Yeah, he's just a little dirtier.
Yeah. So they did a good job with that, actually.
Yeah, it's not inconceivable that these are the same guy.
Yeah. But yeah, it was.
Oh, he's even got like the same tie.
Oh yeah. I did not remember the time.
Me neither.
I was not that. I was not that on the ball. I was not that shomes about it. But it was that and the whole just the picture of the wife was fucking sticking in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It had to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, this is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead.
And that's why he went missing.
But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And after that, he
Yep.
was being questioned by the police. A lot.
Yep. Because that again, his wife was like, he always comes home, and he didn't come home last night, and it's because he was fucking collared.
Chained to a bed.
Last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial, because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in the case, we need to know where we could find you, of course.
And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry waiting for you at the Vigil residence.
No, just you hold on a moment. I don't have the first idea.
What I'm talking about? Really?
Yeah, get his ass. Drag him, Queen.
It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
No, please.
Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash bowl all at once. Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain
What?
the witness.
What? Whoa! You can do that?
Oui, my lord.
See, my lord.
Whoa! They just went for it.
Ah!
This is
No,
nuts.
stop. Get off. Don't.
The question is, does he sound like a different guy?
Yeah, make him sound like a different guy. Yep.
Wow.
Hi, Daily Vigil.
Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Lift your head, sir, so the court may see your face.
It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. It's all been a very elaborate deception. So witness, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but...
See, there is no question. This is the true. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, I think you should make Vigil sound completely different. I think it'd be funnier if he was also doing like a dumb guy voice.
On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi in the park.
Was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector? No disguise at all.
Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
Chief Warder? And your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street?
Well,
got
it's been
canned.
10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison.
10 years. Up, he knows. He knows what that timeline is.
I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil.
At least he put his wedding ring back on. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago. You
Oh, no.
fucked up killing my dad.
His fucking text box shook just now.
Yeah, he definitely knows. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from?
Boone is the other me. It's a name I've invented.
Well, evidently there's a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become.
He's gonna lie.
As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street.
But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her.
Fucked up, dude.
I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone. It's early 1800s London. You can just kind of make shit up and no one verifies it.
True. I mean, that's how that guy that fucking built the weird murder house in Chicago, fucking, he just go around telling
H.H.
people.
Holmes, he would just give people a different
he
name,
just-
and they'd be, yup, that makes
Yep.
sense to me.
He would just do like insurance fraud really easily.
Very easily. Very, very easily.
And I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street.
The scene of the very crime we're investigating.
Yes, that's right.
How are you actually
Whoa.
making money?
A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler. And transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine.
I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. He never spent time there, but that explains it. He must have been like an informant or something for Gregson, right?
Yeah,
Clearly.
that's
like
what
Gregson
I'm
was
guessing.
paying him.
Gregson must have been paying him to use the room, or at least to rent the room. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place?
I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them.
So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them. Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything.
Still, one thing doesn't add up.
Well, a lot of things.
No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison.
Bad bro. You'll get your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd advented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognized me one day.
You mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day,
What the fuck?
I think that was his, like, twisty arm thing, but less cartoon.
Yeah.
Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? It was a secret.
A secret.
I was to impersonate the inspector.
What? Impersonate him?
We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me.
Oh yeah.
Was it obviously
Wait.
Gregson. Where is he?
Where's Gregson again?
Oh, fucking hate Sherlock Holmes.
There he is.
There he
Is
is.
it all systematic? Take a statement from the proprietress.
It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work.
Oh.
That's fascinating.
Why?
And for those
What was it?
services,
Why did Gregson need alibis?
he compensated me financially.
But Gregson was doing crimes then, right?
Yeah. Or
That he
extremely...
needed alibis for?
Either crimes or extremely secret detective work. Was Gregson the Reaper? No way, right?
I mean, the Reaper was some. Could it be that, like, because it's someone that it's all the people Barak Van Zeeks couldn't get
Couldn't get guilty verdicts for.
guilty verdicts on, and it's not Barak, and the only
It's not
person in
Van
the
Zeeks.
world
We're
that
pretty,
knows it's not Van Zeeks.
we're
Van
pretty
Zeeks.
sure it's not Strongheart because that would be too easy.
Yeah. Wait, like, who's the only other person that gives a shit about Barak Van Zeeks? It's Albert Hairbrain and Inspector Gregson, right? Because Gregson had
that's
that
the
photo.
picture of the three of them.
Yeah. So, like, and it's not
I mean,
Albert Hairbrain.
it was his brother, but other guy. But he's dead. Brother's dead. It's definitely not Hairbrain. That would be insane.
Oh, fuck. I think Gregson might have been the Reaper, man.
Oh no.
Now that you've said that. Now that you've said
Oh
that.
no.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? Because, like, he was doing some crime that he needed alibis for.
Yeah.
He clearly knew the Van Zeeks and had, like, a good relationship with them. So maybe something with Eric's death fucking pissed him, just sent him over the edge.
Snapped.
And he's never left the country, which is why he wouldn't have been able to follow anyone into other countries. But why was he planning to leave to France? Was something happening with the Reaper?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
I think
sus
actually I remember
now.
hearing that the yard was kicking him out or something. Like they weren't.
Well,
They weren't,
no,
like,
because
firing,
he had
but
to
was
get
being
special.
he was transferring to.
He's being
France.
transferred, but he had to request it. He had to pull strings to get that to happen because normally they don't transfer to another country.
Yeah, again, insanity. Oh man. I guess we'll see. Nothing like Christmas crimes to make the holiday jolly.
Scotland Yard, Inspector willingly relinquished his identification in your care with intent to deceive. That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense.
But why? What was the point of you impersonating him?
I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't lie about this to anyone, all right? Ever.
Well,
Even if, well, we'll end up as a croaker.
well. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away.
And that's why he gave up his name so easily. Because Gregson literally was just having him go to places and loudly say, I'm Inspector Gregson, and here's my identification.
Yeah. I would love to know, not that we know the dates, but like the characters do. Match those up against any time he had
Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case.
Now wait a minute.
Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asugi.
My learned friend's assertions was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of those two red-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector.
I don't remember actually saying...
Wow.
But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we never actually asserted that.
Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it.
What? Ah!
Yeah, I mean, we knew it wasn't them.
Yeah, no.
They fucking weeped openly about it's nothing.
Or. Indeed, it would appear that we've reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim, as proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Hold it? Who? What? Who?
Asugi?
You? Why?
Pardon me, my lord. With your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness.
Kazuma?
What question, counsel?
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time.
10 years ago? Whew. The execution of the professor, Genshin Asugi.
I want to know exactly what your involvement was.
Oh!
Answer me, man.
One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case?
Maybe.
Yes. Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked.
Does the defense concur, counsel?
Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual.
Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asoki's last moments. His own father.
I know, I do understand that. But even so... Professor Asugi. Professor? Prosecutor. I know what I meant. Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death?
Need you to trust me. Please.
Very well. Then the defense has no objection.
I see. Don't know that that's allowed, but okay. In
Fuck
that
it.
way, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten?
I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. I mean, even that's information.
Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruto?
Sorry?
Well, 10 years is a long time. But to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job.
Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know.
The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection.
Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean.
When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed.
Whoa. But I really don't...
Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out. Good for the truth. One way or another.
Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not?
Oh yeah, do it.
We gotta.
Do it.
We gotta find the truth. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to take a look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Dismissal note.
I'm assuming. Aiding and abetting the escape of the prison from convict.
Yeah.
Meh. Yeah, that's a good reason to fire a guy.
Take that!
Take that. Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Ah,
But he did
yes.
resign. Got fucking
In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment.
A dismissal notice?
And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine. This little slap gets me every time.
Little slap. So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay.
No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Oh no, isn't it?
If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th June, 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison.
The 17th of June? Was that the professor's execution? Professor?
As you were the chief ward at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings.
It does sound familiar.
And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave.
The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness.
However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder,
Yeah, we never did find out what that was about.
and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments.
Yes. Yes.
Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. What's in your head? Zombie! Well, Chief Warder, a daily vigil? I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up!
Mr. Vigil? Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? What?
Order. Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of that time have returned?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams,
Oh, my goodness.
the papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber.
But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene.
Traces of what?
In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there.
The depth of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging is quite staggering.
I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved.
Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, Some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
Whoa, whoa.
I forgot about Mr. Turnaround with his battle axe.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm sorry, Daly. This is serious business. But can I help you now? As Chief Warder, you're responsible for overseeing the execution of four, eh?
Oh! Quick stepped. Flash stepped.
Well, it seems the fellows at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you, but you'd better pack your things, laddie. Get to attend in person.
As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, he's spinning real fast.
He's going, dude.
The professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Oh shit. Ah!
Damn, you peaked that quickly.
Yeah, I bet.
I could tell because I could still hear it, like in real life, but not through Discord.
Through the vents.
You're venting? Sus?
Bailiff, let the doctor at once. Was dreadful today with immediate effect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, with Mr.
Oh.
Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van
Shit.
Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued, I have to assume. Yeah.
Nah,
They don't put voiceover.
the game
bef-
just ends.
They don't put voiceover up before a not to be continued. All right, I'm glad we made it to one. That'll do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll catch you tomorrow for, I don't know. I may or may not stream. We'll see how I'm feeling.
It's Christmas.
Bye. It's Christmas. I don't have a tabletop planned. My wife was out of town. Swissy's still dead, and I think Josh has an event.
Family.
But yeah, we'll see what I do tomorrow. Maybe Hitman or something. I don't know. Bye. The Hitman level I'm on is a snow level. That would make sense.